Alright, welcome to The Way of the Warrior. We're going to do a review of UFC 123, go through the matches one by one, and give you our thoughts and evaluate the card overall. So first we're going to start off with George Sotiropoulos versus Joe Lauzon. Sotiropoulos won via submission via Kimura. What were your thoughts on this fight?
It was probably the best fight of the night. It was very aggressive. Both fighters were very aggressive. Joe Lauzon, he came out earlier in the fight, looked like the aggressor. He was connecting with punches better.
Yeah.
Sotiropoulos pretty much weathered the storm from Joe Lauzon and eventually just won in the second round. It was a battle of attrition. Lauzon got tired in the second round, and Sotiropoulos took advantage of it. So he'll fight Frank Yeager next. That's probably what'll happen next, sometime next year, early next year.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was interesting was the way he cranked that Kimura, because it was like a battle of wills. He was just like, I'm getting this, and he used both his hands to crank his arm back. But like you said, that was an exciting fight. Our next match was Phil Davis versus Tim Boesch, and it kind of it didn't surprise me too much how it went, but like that alternative Kimura that Phil Davis put on Boesch, that was very interesting. Like he got it behind him with his right hand.
One hand.
He set it up with both hands and had his arm trapped with his right hand, and then he wrapped his left hand around like behind him and just cranked it even more. Of course, the cameras couldn't show it, but I mean that's essentially what he did.
Yeah, he was just too strong for Tim Boesch.
Yeah,
won in the second round submission. Yeah, I guess what they call it, Mr. Wonderful now. That's the name of the move.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, because even Joe Rogan was like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
Yeah. Well, he's up and coming light heavyweight. Light heavyweight needs some more fighters anyway. I'm tired. Rampage, Machida, Shogun, and Evans need some new blood. All
right. So then that takes us to the next match, which was Gerald Harris against the unknown Michael Falcao. All right. I didn't. Well, we're gonna try to be quick about this.
Boring fight of the night.
Yeah, the crowd was booing. Yeah. But I thought both of them were real tentative. Falcao was playing it way too safe, and Harris was just like being way too tentative and passive. It's like he kept on trying to measure this cat and do a Roy Jones, and
that's what he looked like.
Yeah. Just trying to measure him. He throws some haymakers or some wild punches, but it's like this cat wasted. To me, in my opinion, I thought he wasted too much time trying to set up for a shoot or a takedown, and it's like he let the guy get into a rhythm. But the dude, Falcao, got some hands.
Oh
he got some speed.
Quick hands. Yeah, I was surprised. Didn't nobody know nothing about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, and Harris got lucky because he could have tapped out in the first round.
Yeah,
but
time was on the side.
Yeah, time was on the side, and it almost happened again. But he used good defense. He kept his chin down to keep him from wrapping him up. But Falcao came away with the win.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd like to see a little more action from both of those guys.
Okay. Yeah, we talked too much about that fight. That was the worst fight of the night. So
all right. So we're gonna go to the two co-main events: future Hall of Famer BJ Penn and Hall of Famer Matt Hughes. And this one ended rather quickly. I could tell BJ Penn was ready because it's like usually it's like when he's like amped and ready to go, when the referee brings him to the center, he's always like, and I was like, uh-oh. And I was surprised, that Hughes didn't, I don't know, I think Matt Hughes was expecting this to go all 3 rounds or something like that.
I wasn't.
But
he was expecting wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, he was lucky just to win the second match. I didn't think this match was going to last that long anyway. BJ Penn is by far the superior fighter of the two.
At least in boxing, anyway.
I mean,
Matt Hughes is a better wrestler, but just overall, yeah, BJ Penn is the better fighter.
BJ Penn can counter that with his submission. So it's like BJ Penn is the better fighter. Matt Hughes isn't in BJ Penn's class.
I don't want to go that far, but
I would.
I wouldn't go that far. It's like you can't gauge off of just one fight because it's like you could just have an opponent that just got your number. You know, so
he's got more than his number. You knock somebody out in 29 seconds. When the third fight, when both guys know everything about each other, he's a superior fighter.
I want to say they know everything about each other.
He just needs to retire. Okay, we talked enough about this match. BJ Penn won in 29 seconds. Newsflash.
Everyone gets a win like that if they fight long enough.
I guess.
But, all right, that takes us to the main event, which was Rampage Jackson against Lyoto the Dragon Machida. All right, like we're sort of theorizing before, Rampage had to push the action. He had to force the action.
Kind of did.
There's no kinda. He was stalking him the first two rounds, and it was interesting to see that Machida in the third round, Machida wasn't running away too much anymore. So I think he had the sense that it was kind of close.
Yeah, he thought maybe whoever won that round would win the fight. It was probably the second most boring fight of the night, pretty much because Machida's elusive. I thought somebody would get knocked out. I thought Machida might be more aggressive, considering what happened in his last fight. I thought he'd probably be a little, angry, upset about it. And Rampage, he's basically fighting for his career. I think this fight kind of saved his MMA career, so he's still relevant. They're talking about having a rematch, but it was a surprising decision. I thought Machida won the fight, but I mean I think
it was still close regardless.
Yeah, I think UFC was trying to make a point to Machida. They want him to be more aggressive by that decision because he was being elusive. They want him to be want him to attack more, but it's almost like what goes around comes around, and he won his first Shogun fight. Yeah, he won the first Shogun fight by a controversial decision, and he loses by a controversial decision in this one. So it kind of circled around. He done lost 2 in a row. So I'm kind of questioning, his resolve, how he'll be able to come back from these 2 fights.
Well, we'll see. The one thing that'll be interesting, and that's interesting that Joe Rogan asked both of those fighters that, because I think they're trying to stall, because in some people's mind, this was like a #1 contenders match, but really, both of those fighters should really fight at least one more match. But I think, the UFC matchmaker Silva, I think his name is Joe Silva, but I think he doesn't want them to have another title shot again just yet. I think he wants Rashad to fight. Rashad is going to fight Shogun in the spring, but I think he still wants, I think they're planning for somebody to be a new contender.
Oh, okay.
Possibly John Jones, because he has his fight with Bader's in February, during the Super Bowl.
It'll be the Super Bowl weekend.
Yeah, so I figure John Jones wins that fight, and then it doesn't matter whoever wins between Rashad and Shogun, but I'm thinking they might set up John Jones to fight whoever ends up being the light heavyweight champion, which would be an awesome card. You know what I'm saying? Either way, whether he's fighting Rashad or he's fighting Shogun, which I think it would be a more exciting fight if he fought Shogun. But I mean that's just my thoughts, my theory on why they're trying to hold off and having Machida or Rampage be like the #1 contender.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, but yeah, that fight was, I don't know, I didn't think it was that boring. I mean, it picked up in the 3rd round. I was surprised Machida got a slam on Rampage, and then the other funny thing was in the 2nd round, Machida tried to put Rampage in the armbar, and Rampage went to pick him up and do one of his nasty slams, but
Machida
got out of it. It was a well scouted move. So, but yeah, so Rampage won by split decision.
Yeah, Brock has got his victory. Yeah, now he can rest and make 18 part 2.
Yeah, but overall, from top to bottom, this was a pretty good card. It's a lot better than the last card, UFC 122.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else?
No, that's it.
You want to say?
Peace out.
Well, yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll let you later. Peace.